So, here we are.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Decent.
Decent is a good answer. It's an honest answer.
How are you?
I'm decent as well. I love it.
It's a true answer.
All right, so true story. It's full moon today, and I just realized that.
It's
Like
full
I'm
moon.
putting everything together
That
right
makes sense.
now. That it is a full moon, and that's why everything is wonky and crazy. Yep. Hey, did you know we have 2 full moons this month in August? 2 full moons in August, which means the second one is a blue moon.
How do you have 2 full moons?
You have 2 full moons
Doesn't
within one calendar month, and it's a blue moon.
But isn't the full... Wait, what?
Mhm.
That's weird.
It only happens every once in a while, like in a blue moon.
Once in a blue moon.
Mm-hmm.
Let them take me as far as they want to go. And it's time for me to say they won't break me. I'm braver than I know. I was made for this. Oh, such a time as this. Oh, I was made for this.
So thank you for joining us today. You'll notice that we are missing Heidi, and we are missing Heidi. I mean, that's a genuine statement. We're missing Heidi. She'll be off for the next couple weeks, and she's just got some surgery to do and some things to take care of, and she'll be back with us in a couple weeks. So in the meantime, I dragged my daughter along. She's super excited. Literally dragged her along to
Pretty
come
much.
here. Yeah. So I want to start off by why we're wearing pink.
That is a great question.
Why are we wearing pink, Addison?
Because the new Barbie movie came out.
Oh my gosh, have you seen the new Barbie movie?
I have. It was amazing.
When did you see it?
The day it came out,
Of course you did. And it was everybody in the theater wearing pink?
everybody, you could tell who was going to watch Barbie and who wasn't because they were all in pink.
Yep. Yeah, I remember when I picked you up, everybody was walking out, and even the guys that had pink on, their heads were a little bit lower, but you know, they did come out with pink on. So, true story, I had to steal this shirt from my son because I don't own anything pink. The only thing I own pink are my shoes. And
I mean, I had to go out and buy clothes
You did
because
have
I
to go
didn't
out
own
and buy
anything
clothes.
pink.
I know. Pink is just not a color I wear very often.
Yeah.
But, so, what are your thoughts on the Barbie movie?
It is so good. It wasn't what most people are expecting.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So a lot of people, when they see it, like when they just hear, oh, there's a new Barbie coming out, they probably think it's going to be like Barbie Life in the Dream House type of a show turned into a movie, like a real life movie. It's not, but it is amazing for people to watch.
So, do you think it's made for kids?
Not really. I feel like it's made for my age and older,
Okay.
like liking how yourself looks. Sorta.
Okay.
Get it out. I don't know what to call it. Like
So,
self-love.
self-love. So, there's a lot of those messages in it?
Yes, a
Self-love.
lot.
So, without any spoilers, tell me what was your favorite part?
Well, it had to have been the end. It got a little emotional.
Oh, all right.
I started crying, which I don't do to a lot of movies. Like, I don't cry to movies. I'm not a crier. And I started crying. It was that, like, deep and emotional and, like, just, like, drew me in. It
Not
was
something
like,
I would have expected from a Barbie movie.
no,
Yeah.
not really.
So, what could you say to parents that have young kids, like young girls that play with Barbies currently and that they are like, oh, I want to go see the Barbie movie? What would you say to those parents?
Okay, it really depends. It isn't, like, necessarily inappropriate.
Okay.
It doesn't, like, some of the outfits are more scandalous, but they're
Okay.
not, like, really bad.
Okay.
And there is some things that are said, like some words, but there's nothing, like, it doesn't swear and it doesn't, like, make constant jokes all the time. It's just, like, two times in the whole movie, really, that say it. So if your kid is, like, if you're fine with your kid seeing that, I'd say go for it. It's a good movie. But if it's like you want to keep your kid away from some of the words and stuff so you don't have to answer questions, I guess.
That's a valid
then
point.
don't
Okay.
wait for them to be a little bit older.
Okay.
But
All right.
yeah.
Thank you for that review. We appreciate it. So I haven't seen the movie yet, but
I will
plan
definitely
to
bring you.
for sure. I just haven't had a chance in my schedule to go see it. So would you like to go see it a second time?
I would.
And you can take me with?
I will.
Maybe we can drag Dad with and make him wear his salmon-colored shirt, which is pink. It's pink. It's okay. He can admit it.
It's salmon is pink.
He wore it
so.
the other day, and I told him that he looked like a Ken doll, and he was like, "Oh, I'll go change." And I'm like, "No, that was a compliment. Like, that's a compliment these days to call somebody the Ken doll." So I love it. All right, well, we will be right back with the rest of our episode. All right, so we're back for the second segment of our podcast.
Hello.
We're debarbified. That's a new word I just came up with.
That's kind of sad.
Did you like that? Mm-hmm. We're de-pinkified. I would love to talk to you today about continuing like in our teen series that we've been in.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe you're a teen. So I'm just going to ask you questions and we're going to talk about it, right?
Okay.
All right. So you are heading into your first year of high school
Yes.
next year. Well, this month coming up. Tell me about how you're feeling about that.
I'm kind of nervous because, like, I don't know if I'll get the same classes as my friends, and I don't know. I just don't know what it'll be like.
Is that really important to you? To be in classes with your friends?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is very important because then, I don't know, you just get to see them.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'll try to make friends, but it depends because I might go into a older kids math class, so I don't know who I'll be able to, like, who I'll see.
And you'll just be the little freshman.
Yep.
Just own that. You just own it. You walk
I
in, you're
will.
like, yeah, I'm a freshman. So what are some things you're looking forward to about starting high school?
Volleyball.
Okay.
Like the high school volleyball, not just kids, because,
Kind of like stepping it up.
yeah,
a
and I
notch.
think it goes longer.
It does. The
Then-
games are longer
Yeah.
and the season's longer.
The season's longer.
Yep. I love it. So what else are you looking forward to?
The dances, that I'm excited for, to be able to find cute dresses and dance.
And high school dances will not be like middle school dances because
We didn't
middle
have
school
middle
is
school
like
dances.
right, but the typical middle school dances are like the boys are over here and the girls are over here.
Pretty
and
much.
in high school, it's like you're allowed to talk to each other again.
And be friends with them.
Be friends with them again. Yeah, exactly. I know you're looking forward to that. We've talked about that. So, what are some things that you are the most like nervous about, I guess? Are you afraid of getting lost at all? Because you'll have to be changing so many classes.
I'm not that afraid. I've been through that school enough that I shouldn't get lost, and I'm really good at remembering things like that. So hopefully I won't.
All right.
And if I do, I'll just walk into another class and be like, "Where is this class? Like, please help." But yeah. Oh, I'm also excited for the field trip for the first 3 days to be
Oh, you
able to
get to
get
do
to
a-
know the other freshmen.
You're doing a retreat at the
Yeah.
beginning of the year.
That I'm excited for.
I love it. So, this summer has been the summer where you've been 14.
Yep.
Tell me about what summer looks like for a 14-year-old.
Well, you can't do a lot of things that you want to do, right? And I've been hanging out with people around me, like that live close more than the ones that live farther away, because then I can see them more. But it's really up to like when I can get a ride and such. Or I've been going on a lot of walks with my friends because there's not much like I can go to around my house. Like there's not stuff, but it's nice. Like I work, so I only work 2 days a week though, so it's not like a lot.
Still got to enjoy your summer.
I did.
So you and I have talked before about how you're kind of in this in-between stage right now. So you're not like a little kid anymore, but you're also not old enough to be independent in terms of driving places, and so you're kind of stuck in between those two phases right now.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit more about that.
Well, unless I'm going with older kids, I can't like go to the scooters downtown or just go to like Holland or like Grand Haven or anything like that. And it's kind of hard because you always have to be able to find a ride and somebody to stay there with you. And like, I'm not old enough to go out and do that stuff, but I'm not a little kid that I can do like other fun things, that it's like I'm kind of stuck in between, where it's like my friends don't want to do childish things, but we're not old enough to do like older kid things.
So, I mean, that just kind of leaves you
Kind of just stuck.
stuck right
Yeah.
in. Yeah. Yep. Let's shift gears for a minute. And I want to talk about stuff with social media. What are the top apps that you use right now?
TikTok, Instagram,
Snapchat.
Snapchat. Sorry. I'm like, I couldn't think of the names.
Right.
Pretty much like those, I guess. I don't really use Snapchat to like Snapchat people. Like I do for a few friends, but I mainly use it for photos so I can keep them because I don't have a lot of space on my actual photos.
So how does that work? It saves it into
saves
the
it
Snapchat
into like a
app?
memory, yeah. And so then it doesn't save it to my actual camera roll, so I have a lot more space, and so I can take a bunch more photos and videos.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So I feel like you have a pretty good handle on your allotted time that you give yourself
Yes.
on social media.
I try to.
What do you do with that? How do you control? You know, I mean, you can get lost in those TikTok videos for hours and hours. How do you control that?
I actually put a like parental control thing, like a time limit on myself that I know the password, but it reminds me I do it for like an hour every day on TikTok. Because that's the only one that I really like can get stuck on, that it sucks me in and then I don't want to stop watching. And so then when the hour is done, I know it's been an hour and I have to like control myself and just get off of it and go find something else to do. Sometimes, and if I'm having like a bad day, I'll just type in my code and continue watching for a little while later. But most of the time I try to control myself and then just like a reminder, like get off of the app. And then I just try to go figure out something else to do. Sometimes I'll just sit outside, just sitting there.
And why? Like, because we didn't put the parental controls on there. So
Yeah.
why did you do that for yourself?
I did that so then I have a time limit for myself. So then it reminds me of like, oh yeah, it's been an hour. That's all you need. Don't be on it anymore.
So what would have been different if Dad and I put parental controls on there and we told you you may only watch for an hour? How would that make you feel as opposed to how you did it?
I feel like I would have tried to get around it and then just sat there longer and stuff. Like my friends who have that found ways to get around it, like deleting the app and then redoing it, and it gives you an extra hour.
Nice.
But I don't want to have to find out the way. Like, and if I just want to watch one more video or show my friend a video, I don't have to like come find you guys to then try to like explain that I just want to show them one video and then you put it in and it's like.
Well, I feel like it helps you to self-regulate. I mean, instead of us dictating how your whole life goes and telling you exactly this, this, and this, that you're learning adult behavior, in my opinion, you know, that's the self-regulation and just saying, I don't want to spend my whole life doing this. I don't want to just sit here mindlessly watching videos for the entire day. Because then all of a sudden it's like 9 o'clock at night and you're like, wait a minute, the sun was out a minute ago. What just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
TikTok is one of the things, like, I have TikTok because I get inspiration from a lot of things. Like, most of my videos are like workout, cooking, and then random funny dog videos.
Funny dog videos
Those are
are
the
my
best.
favorite. You and I sit there and just laugh at those the
They're
entire
just
time.
so
I love
cute.
that.
I love dogs.
They are so cute.
But like some of the things that other people watch, they just get hooked in and then they just keep watching, and it's not like a good thing for them to watch. It's not like it teaches them things or stuff. Like,
Right.
I watch it for some of the inspirational, and it gives me ideas for things. Like if I find a cool sewing video that they're like, oh yeah, I made these, then I'll turn it off and go and do that instead of like, oh, I could do that later in life and just scroll and just like keep going. But a lot of people do that for like an escape. I do it
Right.
for inspiration.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm not one of those people that just watches it and gets lost in the videos. I tend to watch more shows than anything
Yeah.
else. So what other things do you feel like teenagers have to deal with right now that you would like to talk about?
I did mention it in the last video I was in, but kids get told that they have to act like adults and then treated like children. And it is very difficult when you are like my age, and especially at school and places like that, when you're just acting your age and then they tell you that you have to act like an adult, and then 2 seconds later they're telling you can't do this because you're not a kid anymore.
Do you feel like that's going to be any different in high school than it was in middle school?
They get treated.
So they
I
don't want
said it
you to be
backwards.
childish. Like
They don't
want you to be childish
but
and all
can't-
silly.
But they don't respect you. They don't respect you when you try to say something like an adult would. And me being treated like an adult by you guys and always been respected like I have a good opinion like an adult is very difficult from when the teachers come to me and I say something actually logical and then they tell me that like what I have to say doesn't matter because I'm a child. And I'm not an adult yet.
I wonder, though, if that will be different in high school. And we'll have to revisit that and find
Yeah.
out. But I wonder if your opinions will be valued a little bit more than they were in middle school and elementary school. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
They will. I know at a college level they usually are, but I just wonder how you're going to feel about that in high school to see if they listen to you any more than that. Well, we didn't raise you to be a kid.
No, you guys raised me to become an adult because I eventually will become an adult.
Very, very, very soon.
Yes.
Shh. Time slow down.
3.5 years.
4 years.
3.5 years. It
I'm
is
thinking more
it
like
is
4.
August.
Yeah, but you're still 14.
August, October, November, December.
I'm already
January,
dealing with the
February,
fact that your
March.
brother is 20. Like, I'm still dealing with that, and that your other brother is an adult.
What's the next month?
September.
August, September.
Girl, you have been out of
October.
school for too long.
I can never do that unless I start from the beginning on things I can't remember.
Like the alphabet, counting.
The alphabet, I can. No, I can't do it.
I always have to start with A.
I always have to start with A.
So how about are you feeling any anxiety heading into the end of summer and into a new school year?
Yes, only because both of my brothers didn't necessarily like some of the teachers there. And one of the teachers that they both didn't like is left, but the principal is still there. And they are much different than me, but I don't know if it's the actual teacher or just that they're both them.
So you're feeling anxiety based on what your brothers experienced in school.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's going to be how I want it or not. Like, what I expect, if I'll do good even. Like, I also enrolled for 2 math classes.
I know, you're amazing.
And so I'm going to hope that I don't get completely overwhelmed and can't handle it.
So if you were feeling overwhelmed, I mean, what would you do? Like, if you got into the school year and you started to feel overwhelmed, what do you think is the
Well,
best thing to do with that?
One thing is I'd ask how I can, like, not do 2 math classes because I feel like that'd probably be the, like,
Yep, it's called dropping a class.
base. But I'd ask if I could do that, and then I'd talk to them about ways that I can, like, do things easier,
And get support.
get support from it and stuff.
And I feel like communication is huge with that because I feel like a lot of times teenagers put all of this pressure on themselves, especially high schoolers, you know, heading into graduation and all of that. They have that goal in mind and they put so much pressure on themselves. And then they don't talk to anybody about it.
Yeah.
They just hold it inside and they just keep thinking, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this all by themselves. And that's not how it's designed. You know, you should be able to tell your teachers, tell your parents, tell your guidance counselor, even if you don't like your guidance counselor, you should be able to talk to them about it. But holding everything inside is never the answer.
That's how it is for everybody, really. But, like, even adults, teens, they should have somebody to talk to, especially because they have high school going on, they have friendships, they have social media that they have to worry about. All of that stuff that they should have somebody to talk to. And same with adults. They should have a best friend to talk to, or if they don't have family or friends that they can talk to about that, then go to a therapist and talk to that, or write it in a journal. Just
I
you
like
have to
that
get it
idea.
out somehow. Like some teenagers, that a journal thing is actually really smart. Like some teenagers, they might not have family they can talk to, or they have tried to talk to school and that doesn't help. They don't do anything about it. Writing in a journal helps, getting it out at least. So you like just saying it, or
Even
just
if
saying
you
it out
destroy
loud.
it afterwards, or you
Yeah.
burn it, or whatever. Yeah,
Get like a burn book, write a journal, and then just light it on fire.
I love that. I love that. Not like burning books, but like a burn book.
A burn book is a thing.
I know. I like that. I think that's great. Oh my gosh. All right. Fair game. You may ask me any question you want.
I have a question for you.
I'm ready.
This has nothing to do with what we were just talking about.
don't care.
It has nothing. It's
don't
like
care.
way off. But we were talking about this earlier, but when you first had a kid, like when you had Alex and you came into the parenthood, what did you expect? And what was different than what you expected?
Oh, that is such a good question. What is different? What did I expect and what was different? Well, quite honestly, I expected it to be like the movies, like the fairy tale. You bring the baby home and it's like la 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 la, and we do all these fun things together, and we just, the kid grows up and we go do things and we, play things and stuff like that. Reality was no sleep. Not even a little bit of sleep, just no sleep. And you know how much I love my sleep. And it is just chaos all the time. There is no rhyme and reason. There's nothing predictable. Things that I have said as a parent, I didn't think I was going to say. Things that have happened. I think that it is so much better than I ever realized in so many ways. Like, I always wanted to be a parent, but I never realized how much it would change me as a person, and it would make my life so much better. It made me the best version of myself that I can imagine after having you guys. And it continues that way in every stage. It wasn't just like the baby stages and things like that, but it's continually making me a better person.
I also have another question.
Ready?
How was it like? Was it a very big difference raising a boy versus raising a girl?
100% different.
Did you have to
from
like
birth?
restart
from
teaching?
birth. Yeah,
yourself?
I mean, really. So, and I've told you this is like Alex is our oldest, so he's like the guinea pig. But you're our only girl, so you're the guinea pig as well. I don't,
Yeah.
But it was funny because right from the get-go, I mean, literally right after I had given birth to you and I saw you, I was like, oh my gosh, she's so different than the boys. The boys were just like, kind of like Meteor, I guess, and you just came out this dainty, tiny little thing. And it was, you're not a dainty, tiny, you're such a warrior, But yeah, it was completely different. The way I disciplined you was different. The way that I would speak to you, like the tone of voice and stuff like that, was different. I barely had to raise my voice with you, even to the tiniest little bit. And you were like, okay, got it. Whereas the boys had to like scream, way up here to get them to listen sometimes. But yeah, I mean, it is completely and totally different raising a boy and raising a girl. And I think that when people don't do that, it gets a little bit crazy because I can't treat any of the three of you the same with anything that I do. Everything is tailor-made to each kid.
Did any of your friends like judge the way you parented? At
Friends
first,
and family.
until they like realized it themselves.
So everybody has their own parenting styles, right? And everybody is entitled to that. It's your family. You're going to do what you're going to do. And we let the boys be boys when they were little. And they were rowdy and they were loud and they wrestled everywhere we went.
They
like
still
you did
do.
cartwheels on the way into stores, they would wrestle on the way into stores.
They still do.
They still do.
They still
I know,
do.
on a constant basis. But yeah, we did. I have actually gotten apologies from a couple different people in my life for them misjudging our parenting, realizing that we weren't encouraging our boys to be hyperactive and crazy, that we were just allowing them to have the space to be boys.
Yeah, you have to allow kids to be kids, or else they'll like grow into someone that's like, this is how I have to act fully. I cannot have any change or anything.
Right. Yep. Those are good questions.
They are good questions. They were really random. It was because I was eating the blueberries and you and Dad and Grandma were talking.
We were talking about
And that's
that.
what brought it up,
Yeah.
because I was thinking about blueberries.
Oh, man. I mean, and we just talked about that yesterday, but my mom especially used to think that we were so hard on the boys. I mean, just so hard on them. And I just kept telling her, if we give them the tiniest little fraction of an inch, they're going to run all over us. Because they have big personalities. All of you guys have big personalities. And it's a good thing your father and I have really big personalities too, because we can deal with that, you know, like.
If you didn't, we'd be running all over you guys.
Right. I mean, really. But yeah, as soon as we would let go just a little bit, they would take off. And she was like, don't be mean to my grandsons. We're not. Trust me. We could be a little harder on them, I think. But I think they turned out amazing. So I'm okay with how we did things.
I have a very random question.
I'm ready.
It sort of has to do with the whole parenting thing, but how, when you were a kid, I know you and your brother are 12 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
How did it feel? Like, was it very big difference having such a little, like, brother? Like, did you feel like you were parenting him, sort of? Like,
Yes.
teaching him things and stuff? Like, it wasn't more your mom, it was more you?
I mean, it was more of, to me, like an aunt role than a sister role. You know, I mean, not with my other brother. He's 4 years younger, and so that felt more like a sibling.
Yeah.
You know, but with my youngest brother, I mean, I was 12 when he was born, and 12-year-old girls are already baby crazy, all like, "Ooh, they're so cute," you know. And so he hung out with my friends and I all the time. I mean, he was like 3, hanging out with us as high schoolers and just chilling. We'd all be hanging out in the basement, and here comes Andrew, just little 3-year-old walking around. You know, he would talk on a phone, and it was like as big as him, and he'd walk around talking on the phone. And yeah, I took him everywhere we went, and a lot of times people thought that he was mine. And
I mean, you guys do look
sometimes I
alike.
would say he wasn't, and sometimes I would be like, thanks, you know, just either way. But he was 5 when I left for college.
Wow.
And then I didn't really come back except for a couple summers, you know, so that was kind
So
of
he
like.
didn't really grow up with
we
you.
didn't
He
really
kind of
grow
was
up
like
together.
a
Yep.
baby.
Yeah. And now, I mean, look at you guys. You're 20, 18, and 14, and his kids are 5, 3, and 1. So it's like 2 separate generations almost.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. It was interesting, though. Yeah, that it was fun. I loved it. So Dad met Uncle Andrew when he was 8, and then he was 9 when he was in our wedding.
That's crazy.
So a little kid in a little tux. He looked all cute.
Did I tell you what happened earlier? No. Logan dared me. He said he'd give me $5 if I went into the back of like the do not enter thing of Meijer and just walk in, look both ways, and then walk back out like nothing happened. And so I did, because I wanted those brownies. And I walked in, and there was a dude sitting 10 feet away, and he was like putting something in the bottom of the container thing. I don't know what it was called. Shelf?
It's like the stock room.
The shelf, the stock room.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, like I glanced, looked this way, and when I walked, like when I turned around, I turned back out, or turned towards him, and I locked eyes, and then turned around and just walked away and acted like nothing happened. And he was so confused. The look on his face was like, what? Because I didn't take anything. I didn't throw anything away. No questions. All I did was walk in, look both ways, and walk out. And he
And-
was so lost.
Those brownies are
Those brownies are
well
going to be worth it.
deserved. Yep. I love that. That's so fun. I love that you
Yep.
do funny, silly things like that.
Hey, I got brownies.
Yep. But you didn't do anything wrong. Like, you didn't
didn't.
really break any rules.
I mean, I shouldn't be back there, but I walked like 5 feet in. I didn't even walk that far in. I just walked in, turned both ways, and walked back out.
I love it. That's awesome. So tell me 2 things you want to do before summer's over.
I want to have a beach day with all of my friends again. We
Okay.
did it in the beginning of the year, but
It was like 60 and cloudy.
the water was really cold, and we were all in hoodies. And so now when it's sunny and warm, the water will be warmer.
Yep.
And then we can like swim.
I love it.
Oh, how many did you say?
Just give me one more.
Oh,
Do you have a bucket list this summer like you
I
did
do.
last summer?
I do. I can't remember what's on it though.
I know you said you wanted to have a campfire.
Oh,
Tracking
yes.
with Dad.
That would be fun. But I would like to have a campfire with my friends as well.
I love it. We could
Maybe
come home from
even-
the beach and do the campfire.
Maybe even like a camping outside in our camper and in a tent sleepover.
I love it.
That'd be fun.
I love it. That is fantastic. Yeah, well, you've got 21 days left, so we'll make it happen. I love it. Well, thank you for joining me today. You're amazing. I love
Yes.
you.
Thank you for inviting me.
I love to have you here. This is fantastic.
It's very warm out.
It is very warm out, definitely. Well, thank you for joining us, and make sure to tune in next week. We will have another surprise guest next week. Bye.
Bye.